Oh boy.
We're fine.
I don't like this. I don't like the next reason why we might be wrong. Yes, we could be wrong, but there are options.
Hello, Explore friends. Today, this is my crystal ball. I know.
Use your imagination.
I didn't actually have a crystal ball, which of course we don't have a crystal ball.
So this is perfect.
It is perfect, right? But we want to talk to you guys about, honestly, about why we think that the prices of homes will stabilize and even go up in 2025.
And we'll give you the reasons why we might think we're wrong.
All right, so first thing I think we'll talk about is statistically what happens during an election year.
As you know, this is the morning after the debate, so should be an interesting next couple of weeks. But anyway, typically in an election year, the prices go up. So especially after the election. So I think that is a good reason for right now. People think that the prices are going to plummet in Florida and they're going to get these great deals. And historically, that's not the case at all. So now is probably a good time.
That's correct. Statistically, now it will slow down probably in the fall.
Correct.
As they're going through the election.
Can't wait.
Then, oh boy. And then after that, though, when the new president is in, everybody kind of has a short-term memory. They tend to, and statistically, do go up. And keep in mind, that's our snowbird season anyway. That's when everybody comes to Florida.
I think since the short time that I've been doing this, what is it now, 11, 12 years, that was something I had to learn, and I thought people were crazy. And then it doesn't matter which side you're on. Each side says, oh, depending on who gets in office, I'm not going to buy. But they never stick to that. So
No.
It seems like after everything settles down, then people start to buy, and that's when the prices start to go up.
And you guys know this well because you're part of our demographic. We're baby boomers and the Gen X's, and we frankly don't get swayed too much by politics.
Right.
Now, we are swayed a little bit about interest rates. Interest rates during the COVID crazy years were ridiculously low. None of us even think that's normal stuff. So this 5 and 6% kind of doesn't freak us out, right?
No, the first house that I purchased, it was like 6.25, and we were ecstatic. We thought that was great because other people, it had been 8, 10, 12. So it's really not bad. It's that everybody got used to that. Too low, honestly. That 3%.
Well, and
2.8. That's low.
And we have short-term memories, so
know.
that'll be part of that. Now, the interest rate part of this is very much the mortgage world, and we're not mortgage brokers. So I'm just going to read a little something about interest rates. So interest rates are expected to remain high through 2025, relatively high. That's where we're at now, which again, sorry to say, but I don't even feel is that high. The Reserve's current benchmark lending is at 5.25 and 5.5%, and forecasts predict only slightly decreases over the next couple of years. So mortgage rates, of course, are based on that Federal Reserve benchmark, and they're looking at 6.6% in the final quarter of 2025, and some estimate that it's going to be around the 5.5%.
Which
so
would
I
be
think
great
it's kind
again.
of stable.
Right, I agree. One thing that's hard to convince people if they're not cash buyers is to give up a home. Like I have people right now, their current mortgage is at 2.82%. And so the argument is, how do I do this? But they want to move. They want to sell where they are up north and move.
It's about
but
quality.
They're not, exactly. So, and again, we're not mortgage lenders, but if it is going to go down a bit and you're at 7% now, then for the short term, you can deal with that. And then when it does go down, maybe the end of next year, then you can refinance and take advantage of the lower rates, and some just recast. So
exactly.
So it's not that big of a struggle. So if you really want to move, because if the interest rates go down, the prices are going to go up. So you kind of have to balance it out. So maybe it's a good time.
And is that significant over the rest of our journey? Anyway, that is actually one of our little tidbits of why it may not, go up, is everybody sitting on their homes that they have those low rates. Correct. I don't think that affects our 55 plus market as much as it would general real estate.
Yes, I agree.
So after the interest rates and election and all that business stuff, we get down to the fact that the baby boomers and the Gen Xers are starting to plan their retirement. And we're the biggest group of age group people, a genre, that's out there.
Yes.
Boomers entering their 60s, and the demand for the 55 plus is booming. We see that big time because all the builders are building 55 plus communities.
They're all
ramping up.
Right.
Florida is a hot spot.
100%. And I don't know if you've noticed it since you don't go out with buyers as much, but even the amount of, because the 80-20, the amount of under 55 that want to be in these communities because a lot of people are working from home now, or they're retiring early, or they're still working full time, but they see the activities and amenities and say, you know what, we want this on our time off. We want to live in a place like this. So it's crazy the amount of I'd like to say younger people that are.
Well, they're younger than me.
Exactly, younger than me. So it's nice when you're having to check and make sure that there's still some of that 20% inventory left, and those people are flocking as well.
Yes,
so
they
I
are.
think the 55 and over is so strong.
The more people that are still buying lessens the inventory.
Correct.
And because we have a very balanced inventory, not too much, not too little, it's a
Right.
great buyer's market right now because they have choices. Unlike in 2020 when there was zero inventory and everybody
And
freaked out.
and you had to fight for what you could get.
Yeah, or they
overpay,
buy
whatever.
something that they didn't particularly want because there was nothing else. So you've got some very good options right now.
We do.
Great options. Totally
It's
agree
an
with that.
interesting spot too, because I mean, I shoot a lot of these homes, and some of these homes, the starting price, they're still trying to start at that high like COVID price, but stuff isn't moving at that price
No.
level. So it'll sit for 30 days,
True.
and then you just see it drop 5K, 10K.
Yeah, I love that you say that because honestly, it is a balanced buyer's market's perfect because then you get to choose the house
Yeah.
and you don't mind paying a little higher for the new countertops, the conservation
yes.
lot versus the other one. So there is some competition. You'll see that the nicer ones go, the average days on market, I don't know, is probably 60 days now, right?
It's
93.
Up there a little, yeah,
Okay, so it's like
93 in some of our communities. You can't be asking those crazy COVID prices.
Right.
Those days are over.
Yeah.
So those are the ones that are sitting on the market until the seller realizes, hey, you know what, they're right. Their market analysis was right, and we need to lower it if we want to sell.
Yeah.
So, that's a conversation that we have to have, but it is good for buyers because there is some negotiating room now that wasn't
Right.
there 2 years ago.
That's right.
Right.
And then if you have something special on a water view or a conservation view and maybe an extra garage and all the upgrades, then those are selling quickly, not at COVID prices, but at a nice price, a
Yeah,
little higher.
and that's what I was gonna say. It's like buyers. Some people are waiting to like start looking because they're waiting for prices to go down. But know that there's in this market that we're in, there's wiggle room on the prices. So it's like you see a price, no, you can probably get it down a little bit because people are that starting price when they first list is it's higher than what it should be.
Well, and this is the beauty of hooking up with a fabulous agent that's familiar with the communities and pricing because we'll give our buyers a comparable market analysis, which isn't based on listing prices. It's based on what price is sold. So you'll feel very comfortable that you're not overpaying for something.
Right.
And just because of the numbers, it is not crystal ball. It is not going to fall. It's not going to do anything crazy and drop. So if it's your desire to retire and enjoy 20 years in a fabulous resort style type community in an area that you have, is new, but you get to meet new friends, there's no putting it off. I'm just saying
it's
that.
quality of life, right? So you have to decide, do you want to wait and think?
That's what
crystal
us
ball?
mature people do.
Exactly. But think like, oh, well, it's going to drop $100,000 and then I'll move. It's probably not. So do you want to take the risk that it's going to go up even more? Do you want to, you don't have a lot of years left probably. Do you want to sit and wait? And
Nobody said that, did they?
You know what I mean? Like we
We're
get
all
to the
pretty
point where we
realistic.
want, we want to enjoy our life. So why do you want to keep waiting? Because you're giving all those good years away. In my
Right, and
opinion.
there's more of a chance of it taking off than it going down.
Correct.
So I mean, it's honestly a good spot right now.
Yeah,
We could be wrong.
it could be.
So overall housing market shows signs of recovery, but there's some factors that could contribute to the slowdown. And it does say affordability issues. So I'm sure that's with our fixed income folks.
Correct.
Specifically, when the rates are a little higher, their payments higher. Yes, here in Florida, insurance and property taxes and different taxes have gone up. Thank you, Mother Nature, and some storms and the way the insurance industry is.
But some of the insurance rates this year, since 2024, have been better because of the new companies coming in. So I debate that all the time
Okay.
because I just had a closing at Trilogy with a 12-year-old roof, which last year would have been an outrageous premium, or they would have had to immediately replace the roof.
Yeah, they wouldn't have even gotten insurance.
$1,400 for the whole year. So I don't think that's bad. I don't think that's bad at all. They were pleasantly surprised. And so I think that because the 4 or 5 new insurance companies have come into Florida, and now it's just, there's some
to update
competition.
my insurance
and
policy.
exactly. So I thought that was an excellent rate, and I've been seeing that. I just had an older home in Plantation close. That was also a good premium. And so I think it's getting better.
So
Taxes, nothing we can do about.
Have to do the math.
Absolutely.
So the affordability issue is for some, it might deter some folks from coming down. Back to the economic uncertainty, right? The possibility of the recession and slow growth and this election and all of that stuff, we don't know, but it sure seems pretty stable now. But that could be a factor if it goes sideways.
Right.
That slows it down, and then the housing market might slow.
And don't you think the rate lock we kind of talked about earlier, but there are people that are on the fence just from that. It's almost
Yes.
like the golden handcuffs of not quitting a job that's commission based, right?
it's
I've
true.
got this 3% interest. Now you want me to sell my home here and then come to Florida and get a 7% interest. However, some of the builders, because they buy in bulk, are offering ridiculously good interest rates right now. So, if you
have to
wanted
use
new,
their
you have to use
lender.
their lender, but if you wanted a new home, which by the way, they have great incentives.
Yes, they do
Not
right now.
just on the interest rates, but on the price of the home. So that is somewhere that would get you lower than what you could get for a resale as far as a percentage, but it's still a good option. So I still think, yes, we could be wrong, but there
this.
are options.
Well, use this why we could be wrong, and Tricia's like,
Yeah,
no,
but
what?
I mean, it just had it happen. We have buyers
Yeah.
that are coming, and they're coming only because they were on the fence. But then when they've got Pulte,
Well,
for
we
instance,
had-
has great interest
We
rates.
had a couple of our Explore customers that still got over asking price in their home because the market where they're at is still excellent.
I
So
just had people from
they feel
Massachusetts,
very
yes,
comfortable with
yes,
all of this.
Same thing. So
Anyway, we
don't know if we're wrong or
sorry,
not.
we're always half full. It's just the way we are. Very service-oriented, half full people, but
Gotta
we
be
have
that way.
solutions to,
Of
right?
course, yeah. I don't like this. I don't like the next reason why we might be wrong because I don't think the majority of our people are looking at assisted living or things. I don't know.
I agree. I think
So what's the next reason?
okay, so we've got on this list that the alternative living arrangements, people are looking at other options, multi-generational housing.
Which is good.
Which is good,
And
because
we
you get
have
to
those
live with
options.
your parents, or your parents get to live with your kids. So they may not be moving to a 55 plus. And then they mention assisted living and those type of opportunities. I think we're getting, again, here we're disputing our own, we may be wrongs, but we're getting younger and we're living longer. We don't want to go in an assisted living at our age. So I think, I guess there could be some of that in offering oversupply possibly.
I don't think an abundance of that.
I
I don't
don't think
think
so
that most people that are 70 are thinking of some sort of facility to live in. I just don't see that's the way they're going.
Well,
I don't quite go ahead. You can go with your thought.
I think there's a trend now to thinking about aging in place though,
I
and
agree.
staying
But
maybe
talk about
with your
expensive.
with your
Oh.
with your kids and stuff. But they lose out on the opportunity to stay social and active, and so
And have freedom, real freedom. I mean, because even
Yeah,
in the Gen X
independence.
homes, you don't have that independence. You might have your own entrance, but you're still right there. So they're always, I don't know. some people it works for, but I
Yeah.
don't think it's the majority of our
Well,
clients.
and I don't think it's getting bigger.
No.
Although-
No, I don't either. I think that it fits certain families and certain lifestyles, but it's not
Well,
the
I'm
majority.
just going to be honest about my thought on this. I think that happens when you can't take care of yourself.
Agreed.
And that's when you move. But when you're like us, fit and fabulous, fit as a fiddle.
Fit as
oh
a
my
fiddle.
Lord.
Fit as
Anyway.
a fiddle, fit and fabulous. We're both.
Then these type of communities are perfect. So all of that said, it's really important to note that the real estate market varies significantly by location. There will be some places that have more inventory, so you've got more negotiation, and some places that have less because of the popularity and availability. There's where your team comes in.
Yep, I agree. So, we'd like to hear your predictions, what you think about the housing market right now, particularly in Florida, in the 55 and over market. And if you want to get in touch with an expert, you can go onto our website, which is www.explore55plus.com. So, we'll see you in the next video.
Yes. Thank you.